have been working on in the last couple of days.
It is Cone and Hopkins with the tip, and Q Owens, the leading scorer for the Cougars, awarded with possession, which means now the possession arrow is in the favor of the Wildcats. So Dawson now just stepping over the half-court line, guarded closely by Martin. Small getting things set up here at the outset. So a little bit of a strange start of this game, but nevertheless, we are now in regular offense and things are rolling. Q Owens, obviously the guy to keep an eye on. He was the leading scorer the last time we saw them with 19 points.
And a big key was shutting when George Jones was on the court to help shut him down in the last game. And of course, we haven't had Jones for a few weeks here.
So Derek Troyer now getting things set up and rolling for the Wildcats. He tosses it over to Widener, who the other night absolutely phenomenal from three-point range. Peters takes a three-point shot, misses. Hopkins rebounds, kicks it back out to Troyer to set things back up. He goes inside to try to get it to David Peters. Small misses it, Peters gets it. Troyer with a nice reverse layup to get on the board first.
What a great heads-up play by David Peters, the senior leadership on the court, seeing the awareness and then dishing it off to Troyer.
Small now driving on the inside. He kicks it out to Comer. And now the Cougars getting their offense all set up here in the early going. Owens guarded closely by Peters. He drives in, pulls up, shoots, and he's off balance and he misses. Widener comes up with it. Peters driving to the lane. And unfortunately, if he had just gone up, I think he would have gotten the foul. Martin takes the three and misses. Small getting the ball, bringing it up, telling Dawson, go on ahead. Derek Troyer getting the ball away from Small. He's got an open lane. Freshman from Rushville, Indiana. David Peters now trying to get the ball in bounds. Gets it to Hopkins. Peters now on the left-hand side. Jordan Widener pulls up, a little off balance. Shot doesn't quite go, and Aaron Martin gets the rebound. Inside to Hopkins on the shot clock.
Cone is one of the players in the MCC that can really frustrate and stay with Patrick Hopkins.
And nice move getting around Cone.
Patrick gets the advantage there. Nice pass inside for the assist.
Owens now bringing the ball up rather than Small getting things up. He drives in on Peters.
David Peters has that responsibility of matching up against a top player, filling in for George Jones, who has been so strong defensively throughout.
A look on Oscar weekend that he might be nominated for an Academy Award for that performance. Free throws, the first 2 points on the board for the Cougars, and Derek Troyer now bringing the ball up for the Wildcats. Troyer getting around the pick set by Hopkins. Takes a fall away jumper, doesn't drop. Owens now coming up with it for the Cougars. Comer driving the lane. A lot of off-balance shots so far this afternoon for both teams, as they are driving in the lane and don't quite have good body control over what they're doing, but the shots are being launched. A nice inside move pass from Owens to Dawson. Game now is tied.
Owens is going to draw a crowd, and that's going to create opportunities for others.
Inside to Hopkins. Very nice.
Another great dash off to Hopkins.
It's encouraging to see Hopkins is off to a great start with just his under-the-basket presence. We've seen a number of games of late where they cannot get anything to drop underneath the basket, but tonight so far looking very good.
I know they've had players that can match up with Patrick in the past, but they're probably going to have a double team if he keeps getting those easy ones.
Dawson now guarded by Hopkins. He gets around Hopkins, and he lays it up and in. Aaron Martin just a little too late to get to him. David Peters, that's difficult.
And Mark, these opening minutes, teams are figuring out what's going to work. Already a few times down the court, the dish off to Patrick Hopkins has been there, and you know these Wildcats are going to go to that if it's there.
So Jordan Widener now tossing over to Hopkins. Parker Stauffer now in. Hopkins takes a long shot, he misses. Small coming down, he pulls up, gives it over to Cone, and then to Owens. Comer getting the ball into Dawson. Dawson has the position and gets a nice layup. Not the best defense on the part of the Wildcats. Then there's Hopkins with a nice, he senses he's got the opening and he moves quickly.
Patrick Hopkins is going to have a big game if he keeps having such the awareness that he's had so far.
He's got 6 of the 8 points.
Going down and hoping it creates opportunities.
Owens with Palambizio now out there, as well as number 30, Kevin Bloom. So Owens didn't make either of his free throws. And the Wildcats come back with an opportunity to take both parties. So Owens now with Troyer guarding him. Done a little bit of switch defensively since David Peters is on the bench.
These are two teams, Mark, that know each other so well. As we said in the opening, it's kind of like Colts Patriots. They play each other so often, so they can each adjust to what the other's doing.
Cone trying to muscle his way in on Schoen, and Schoen just tough as he can be, not giving really any ground. Troyer with a nice dish layup, just misses. And here comes Owens. A 1-on-4 situation. Dawson from three-point range, and it's good. First three-point basket made this afternoon.
Might be the first one St. Francis has taken.
Yeah, I think it is. I think we've had at least 2 3-pointers attempted. Troyer now realizing he isn't going to get anywhere against the taller Cone. Widener now for 3.
He fell down right in front of us. I don't know if he lost his footing or got a little bit of a shove, but no call.
Owens driving in, he kicks it out to Dawson, and makes me a little nervous, wondering what would happen to the Wildcats if we get down too big too soon.
This is not a team you want to let hang around. Even though they don't have the players they've had in just recent years, they do have that postseason experience and that maturity on both the players and the coaching staff.
Schoen now dribbling over to the center of the court. Widener. Ball tipped away from Schoen. Boy, does he grab it. Parker Stauffer immediately double teamed. He gets out of there. 3 seconds on the shot clock. We're going to have a shot clock violation. Dawson inbounding the ball now to Owens. Owens walking it up. David Peters now back in for the Wildcats. DJ Bettinger in. Patrick Hopkins back in. Long three-pointer by Bloom. It's missed. Widener now coming back. He kicks it out to Bettinger. Bettinger decides to hold it up and reset the offense. Widener trying to come around on Bloom, or actually rather on Dawson. Excellent defensive intensity on the part of the Cougars. We're down to 12 seconds on the shot clock. Widener getting things set once again. Pick made by Schoen, opening Widener too hard, and rebound by number 22, Palambizio.
And Mark, whatever was there for the Wildcats early in the game, it's clearly not now. They're coming down and getting incredibly frustrated, trying to find an opening.
Cougars are just doing an outstanding job around the perimeter with the defense, just not letting them get anywhere. 3-point shot made by Kevin Bloom. Now an 8-point deficit on the part of the Wildcats, 16-8.
They start hitting those Wildcats, they're going to have to start getting aggressive, going out after them.
They go inside to Hopkins, turns around. And that free throw missed.
They don't want to see that.
Rumor has it that Coach Tonigal sent a number of his players back out to the practice gym after the game Tuesday night practicing free throws.
It's been an issue all season, Mark, and you hate to see it showing up so dramatically in the postseason.
Beautiful turnover now for the Wildcats into Widener, and he gets the...
Exactly whether the player had position. It's always the toughest call in basketball.
So 16-10 is the score, with the Cougars now back on offense. Small back out there, tosses it over to Palambizio, who drives. Contested a bit, he misses, and the ball is a foul. That is his first, team third for the Cougars. So here come the Wildcats. Derek Troyer calling the play, getting things set up. So another opportunity to cut this deficit of 6. Martin on the outside. He gets it back to Hopkins. We're not seeing quite the defensive intensity this time around in the Cougars, so Peters takes a three-pointer and makes it.
They can get those open. David Peters needs to take more of those shots. Somebody's got to open things up for the inside.
Long three-pointer by Bloom, rebounded by the Cougars. Aaron Martin inbounds the ball to Derek Troyer, and Troyer will bring it down and now get the offense rolling. So the timeout called by Coach Tonigal a couple of minutes ago has seemed to kind of change some things a little bit. The Wildcats are kind of getting back in a rhythm. Patrick Hopkins now on the inside. So Peters now bringing the ball in, getting it to Troyer. Troyer dribbling around to his right.
And Mark, the Wildcats just look incredibly frustrated every time they come down here to this end of the court.
Long three-pointer by Troyer, and it's good. So 2 3-pointers in a row for the Wildcats has tied this game right back up.
Got to hit them, or St. Francis will have no reason to come out and guard you.
So Small now running things, tossing it over to Owens as he tries to go in. 3 Wildcats collapse on him, and he wisely pulls the ball back out, gets things set up. He goes in again, draws a crowd. He gets it to Sneary, who's able to convert.
I don't know how Sneary found that ball and then managed to just come up out of nowhere and hit the shot.
Wildcats get the ball right away into Hopkins. He does a nice, just falling short. Surprised the refs didn't call jump ball on that, but they didn't. And here come the Cougars.
Let's not forget the Cougars are fighting to get into the national tournament at this point.
Wildcats, on the other hand, have a place already secured by virtue of winning the MCC. That. But so Martin now will inbound the ball. He gets it to Troyer, and Troyer now is getting things back up the court to reset the offense. DJ Bettinger in for the Wildcats, guarded closely by Small. Start calling this game tighter if you don't watch it. Peters trying to get it in. He gets it into Stauffer. Stauffer turns around, his second. So Parker Stauffer will shoot his second free throw. We'll get the ball here as we get things rolling. So Owens bringing it up, guarded closely by David Peters. And the Wildcats doing a little bit of double teaming way on the outside. They've recovered now, gone into their regular defense. Small, long three-pointer, and he gets it.
Three ball is working for St. Francis. That's something that's got to be covered.
Widener now on the outside, moving towards the middle. Sneary closely guarding him, and of course the shot is blocked because of the height difference. We do want to keep an eye on Small. He was the second leading scorer the last time these two teams met. He had 15 points. Wildcats will get to go to the free throw line in the next foul with a one-on-one and a non-shooting foul.
I think you're right, Mark. The refs has pretty much decided they're going to call this a lot tighter.
Ball goes inside to Parker Stauffer. He can't keep a hold on it, and another turnover for the Wildcats. Owens getting inside now to Cone, who's back in, blocked by both Greathouse and, well, in the middle of that replay, the Wildcats had a free throw, and they missed it. So I got to tell you, Randall, as we've already said, I don't want to keep beating a dead horse, but if both teams don't stop fouling, this game's going to get ugly really, really quickly.
So many fouls just called recently away from the ball.
Bloom with a long three-pointer. He misses. Hopkins rebounds. Greathouse in, as we mentioned a bit ago. So let's see how Patrick can do on this one-on-one. Second one bounces. So really two important free throws. The gap now is 3 as Owens brings the ball up for the Cougars. 6 minutes now remaining in the first half. Owens dribbling around first to his left. He comes back to his left-hand side. It's tossed out to Bloom over to Small. Small drives, kicks it over. A shot by number 40, Dawson. It's no good, and here come the Wildcats.
Good defense that time by the Wildcats. They're getting after the shooters.
Oh, David Peters acted like he wanted to take that 3. Instead, he holds on to it. Now he takes it, and he leaves it short, and Patrick, unfortunately, was moving away from the basket because the ball came in his general direction. Owens kicks it out to Bloom. He loves that spot, and he gets it.
That's too many times down the court. Sometimes somebody's going to have to get on these three-point shooters because they're just getting open looks.
And Bloom really seems to like that position because he's shot there already numerous times this afternoon. Intentional foul, which is a right. Peters still guarding him. Troyer on Small. Small comes up, gets a position on Troyer. He gets the ball over to the left-hand side, though, to Owens. Owens gets position on Peters, drives, misses the ball. A little too early in this game for that. And Dawson makes it. 10-point game now, 30-20. So the Wildcats have got some work cut out for them here in these last 4.5 minutes of the first half. Parker Stauffer immediately double teamed. That pass tips it out of bounds. 15 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Widener now gets it. Wildcats typically this season have not done well when inside of 10 seconds on the shot clock.
Free throw percentage, 80%. Part of the margin there.
Bloom with a three-pointer from the left hand.
9% the other night, but still not where you want to be.
Whole lot of control over. And Troyer made free throws. So the last 4 free throw shots by the Wildcats have all been made, but there still is an 8-point deficit with 4 minutes remaining in the half. You get the ball inside to Cone. He gets the position on Stauffer. Fashawi, number 34, now in the game, and he did a great lob pass over Stauffer to get the ball into Cone. Stauffer now on the inside, turns around, it rolls around and drops.
That time Stauffer got the position, got his shot after a couple of times down, being stuck with nothing to shoot.
Owens now, who has played almost the entire half with the exception of about a minute. He drives, and David Peters, down on the ground, is able to get the rebound. There was absolutely nobody on the left-hand side of the basket.
No, if he hadn't been off balance on that, that would have been an easy layup.
Stauffer guarded by 3 guys, and then about 3 Wildcats just standing around watching. So it results in a turnover and a basket by number 30, Kevin Bloom.
Mark, something's got to happen when these inside players get the ball down low. Some shooters have got to step out. Somebody's got to be open with something on the outside. The Wildcats are still looking, I think, offensively for some shooters to step up.
Widener now tossing it over to Peters. He thought about shooting the 3. He drives, just puts it up. Minute remaining in the first half. Fashawi now with his first. And so Fashawi just knocks down both of those free throws. 12 points is the deficit for the Wildcats, the largest of the game. And it should be an interesting second half to see. Troyer now trying to get the ball in. He's having a hard time. He gets it out to Hopkins. He puts the ball on the floor, gets it into Vandewater. Very nice play, a defensive collapse for the Cougars, and
great awareness. They got everyone spread out, and it created the easy bucket underneath.
Now Vandewater guarding Owens since David Peters is on the bench with 3 fouls. Cone with the shot, 8-footer, good.
And as much as we've talked about free throws, Mark, difference in the game, I think, is St. Francis is getting so many more open looks in good positions, and then they're converting them.
They really are. Even that last shot, not really contested and only about 8 feet away from the basket. Parker Stauffer with a turnaround off the glass, nice basket.
Nice work by Parker. I think he's found his position down there the last couple of times down the court, and now we've got to see if we can get it down to him a little bit more.
So Vandewater once again on Owens, and the Cougars are now setting things up. Small looked like he wanted to take that shot. He backs it off and resets the offense. 15 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Cone really, Parker Stauffer really in his face. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Small, a minute 61 seconds now remaining in this first half. So there's about a 25-second difference on the shot clock and game clock. Widener has really has been held to no points in this first half. That may be one of the highest percentages they've had all season.
It'll come down a little bit after Patrick misses those 2.
All right, so 40 seconds remaining in this half, 26 on the shot clock, about a 13-second difference, so it's still a 2-possession game. Owens taking his time, running time off of the clock. He drives on Vandewater, kicks it out to Small for a 3-pointer, rings around, no good. Hopkins taking it, he's got some time.
Got one more chance here, sloppy possession.
Small to Fashawi. So Troyer gets it, less than, well, now about 11 seconds remaining in this game. Shot clock off. He drives, shoots over, air ball, Hopkins, rebound and scores, and that's
the season.
That's exactly right. Aaron Martin now getting the ball into Troyer, and the second half begins. So not trying to be too over dramatic, but this first opportunity, offensive opportunity, rather important for the Wildcats, and immediately another turnover.
Sloppy pass there. Derek's looking for Patrick. It's just not there.
You know, and as you mentioned, every opponent in the MCC knows that the Wildcats will come down and try to get into Patrick right away. And they just did a great job of anticipating that and getting the pass.
St. Francis seems to have several of the larger bodies that can really frustrate.
Team first. David Peters, who's out on the court now, has got 3 fouls from the first half, so they're going to have to keep an eye on how he guards Owens. And actually, he's not guarding Owens. The ball, Dawson having the position on Widener, and they just get a beautiful pass into Dawson, and he gets that basket very easily.
The Wildcats were coming out on those 3-point shooters that time, Mark, so that's what opened up the inside down low.
Aaron Martin going on the inside. Nice basket for Martin.
Martin been kind of quiet the first half. It's nice to see him step up there.
Troyer now guarding Owens. He tries to get it back into Dawson. Doesn't go. Great defense on the part of Martin. Here comes David Peters on the inside. He kicks it out, and unfortunately, another sloppy pass.
Probably should have gone on straight up with something, tried to draw a foul.
So David Peters guarding Small. Comer around a minute and a half into this second half. Already we've had 2 fouls. Both Wildcat fouls.
Hard to find a rhythm with so many stoppages of play also.
Small gets the ball into Comer. The ball is tipped away by Troyer. Small goes in, tosses it out to Owens. He gets the step in, and the basket. Troyer goes on the inside. So Troyer is shooting his first significantly to get fouled. Throws in a row, looking really nice.
You wonder if any team is going to be able to go on a run at this point. If the Wildcats get back into this, they're probably just going to have to claw their way.
It's going to get ugly. It's going to look ugly. Small getting on the step on the inside. Once again, stolen by Aaron Martin. So early in this second half, Martin has done a great job in the defensive end.
More great awareness. Now they got to convert it.
Widener.
Convert those opportunities when you catch them napping or you catch some kind of a defensive turnaround like that, to go down to the other end and not convert hurts.
Really nice pass into Patrick Hopkins, who had the position on Cone. He stops to see if he can get Cone off his feet, and Cone wisely held his ground, but Patrick went up and got the basket anyway with no foul. So it's a 6-point game.
Every little basket, scratching and clawing.
And Martin getting ready to bring the ball in.
You have to like the defensive effort down on this end of the court. Something they're doing. Aaron Martin really stepping up defensively, picking off several passes, been in the mix for several others.
Patrick Hopkins still dribbling like a guard. Doesn't do that too much. He gets the position, but doesn't really get a very good shot. That probably ball should have been kicked out to the outside instead of doing that. But another opportunity for the Wildcats to put a defensive stop. Just about turned the ball over, the Cougars did. But Small now gets things reset. Comer to Cone. He almost lost balance. Small. He gets a 3-point basket.
Small will surprise you. He did it when he was here last time.
DJ Bettinger immediately into Patrick Hopkins, who backs down Cone. Cone with 3 fouls. That is going to be a combination that if they can continue to just, Cone can't do anything against that.
They're going to keep going to it as long as it's there.
Derek Troyer with the steal. He loses his balance, retains balance, and lays it up. Nice bat. So the Cougars bringing the ball in bounds now. Owens gets it. Derek Troyer guarding him. Derek Troyer also has done a great defensive job on Owens. Small guarded by DJ Bettinger. Aaron Martin now on Dawson. Oh, and Comer gets a nice feed and a basket for the Cougars.
Someone lost position on Comer, and he just did not even miss a step heading towards the basket there.
Wildcats had changed into a man-for-man deep lead to 5, and now it's back to 7. And the Cougars now bringing the ball up. Derek Troyer on Q Owens.
Now both teams about dead even in field goal percentage, Mark.
Oh, Dawson pushed off on Schoen. No foul, but good for Dawson. He got the basket. Kicked out to Widener for 3. He leaves it short, and Fashawi with the rebound.
Widener wanted it. They were looking for him out there in the corner. Just didn't convert.
Widener just doesn't have the touch today.
Down, Mark. Do they go back to Parker Stauffer? He's had a hot hand a little bit in the first half, found some good position. Do they keep going back to that?
Widener now getting things set to Schoen. Schoen back to Troyer. And we get Schoen momentarily open, but Dawson has fairly decent position on him, and so Schoen sets it back outside. Now 13 seconds on the shot clock. DJ Bettinger down to 10. Troyer on the inside loses control, but was able to get it.
No
one in position. Falling.
No one in position to rebound either.
So Owens now takes a step back, and he gets the offense set and ready to go. Comer getting the ball into Fashawi. Nice block by Stauffer. And here come the Wildcats. Jordan Widener on the inside. Off they went. Well, actually, no free throw. They just get a fresh 35 and get a chance to reset everything. Widener getting the ball into Hopkins. He's in big. And it's the play. And Patrick Hopkins. So we're back to a 7-point ball game with 13:45 remaining in this game. So Troyer on Owens.
Free throw percentage starts to become a factor, Mark, especially if the Wildcats.
And Owens gets the ball into Bloom. Big defensive breakdown for the Wildcats. Bloom was just wide open with Patrick Hopkins, his back turned to him.
Nice little inbounds play by St. Francis.
Widener going on that foul committed by number 30, Kevin Bloom. That is his second. That will foul charge to your name. So Widener makes 2. Those are his first 2 points of this ball game.
And the Wildcats are now over 70% in free throw shooting, Mark.
Fashawi able to pick up the bouncing ball, and he converts. So just as the Wildcats seem to get something, the Cougars are able to rebound and come back with another point scored. Hopkins, no good, rebounded now by the Cougars, and here comes Owens. You gotta be impressed with the senior leadership of Q Owens here. While he may not go get 2 shots, he makes the fixed here after this basket. And Patrick, Patrick was simply a good actor, that no contact was made, but that's not what the ref saw.
Well, Patrick is a good actor. Move on.
Exactly. Aaron Martin now trying to get it into Hopkins, who's not inside, but on the outside. He tosses over to Peters, who's back in the game. Widener coming up against Cone. He decides to shoot, but then last minute.
We've seen them miscommunicate.
So it's still a 7-point game. That seems to be about as close as the Wildcats. We did have it at 5 at one point, but not able to get it much beyond 7. Dawson on the inside, double teamed immediately. He can't get position. Out to Bloom, 3-pointer off just to the left. Rebound by the Wildcats, and here comes Jordan Widener. Spin move on the inside, nice layup. Now we're down to 5, 53-48, 11:41 remaining in this game.
If the Wildcats can push that kind of tempo, they may find something.
The only bench player in right now. Here's Q Owens' second shot. Aaron Martin now will inbound the ball to Troyer with 11:32 remaining in this game. So Troyer hands off now to Aaron Martin. Aaron for a long 3, rims in and out, no
almost
good.
Had a chance there.
Owens gets the ball.
Going to need to take some more of those and need some of them to drop for sure.
So Owens just taking his time, looking at the field, getting things set up. He passes over to Bloom and then Small. Not a lot of ball movement on the part of the Cougars, but they're content with that. Small with open 3, and it's no good. Rebound by Hopkins, and here come the Wildcats. So Troyer gets it into Hopkins. He gets a little bit of a position on Dawson and drives in and makes the basket.
If Patrick Hopkins can stay in this game, Mark, and can stay out of foul trouble, they're going to keep going to that, because St. Francis has not had an answer underneath today.
Dawson now at the top, guarded by Martin. Ball goes inside to Cone. Cone had the step on Hopkins. And very quickly,
Indiana Wesleyan's gotten 15 of 32.
Also turnovers, the Wildcats still have too many turnovers. However, that difference has slowly shrunk here in the second half. Widener now, wide open, Patrick Hopkins, nice!
Can cut it to 4.
And unfortunately, Patrick misses badly. The bounce goes to the Cougars, and so we're still at a 5-point game.
Could have been the smallest margin this half.
So Owens getting things set up as he tosses it left side to Small. Owens was acting like he wanted to go for a 3, and then the Wildcats quickly double-teamed him.
And we're seeing St. Francis a lot more patient down there, Mark. Clock starts to become a factor.
They've got some time to kill. Q Owens will inbound the ball with a fresh 35. So Dawson gets it. Vandewater back in for the Wildcats. He is back on Owens.
St. Francis is going to take time, get a good shot.
Palambizio's shot, or pass, just off a little bit. It results in a turnover for the Wildcats. So Derek Troyer dribbling on the inside. Aaron Martin going in. Oh, it does. Aaron Martin will now shoot 2. And he may, boy, I'll tell you though, that would have brought the house down, wouldn't it? Ball bounce. So Zach Vandewater is shooting a one-on-one.
Wildcats really need the fans to step up here and make a difference.
Ball goes in and out, and so here come the Cougars. Owens bringing the ball up. He hands it off to Small. A little bit of pressure on the part of the Wildcats, doing some double teaming early, way outside around the half-court line.
Francis sit back and just milk this clock.
Q Owens now getting things set. 10 seconds remaining on the shot clock. And he really is going to let this thing run down. Palambizio, as the momentum has clearly swung.
Wildcats need a good possession here. They don't need to push things too much. Chance to cut this to one or maybe even tie it.
Widener back in the game. He tosses over to Vandewater. Aaron Martin. And then to Widener once again. Inside to Hopkins. Fashawi on him. Hopkins positions. Vandewater, nice rebound. Doesn't get it. And Palambizio comes down with the rebound for the Cougars, and Owens getting things set back up. Still plenty of time for both teams.
Got to see some more pressure here.
Oh, Aaron Martin
mistakes.
Almost got the... And they've done a better job here in the second half of not committing as many turnovers as they did in the first half. All right, 12 seconds remaining in the shot clock. St. Francis, again, comfortable in letting that clock run down to 5. Hopkins on Owens, which is a little strange match. Dawson shooting and missing, and the Wildcats get the rebound.
Okay, Wildcats need a good possession here. It looked a little ragged sometimes down the court.
Widener hoping to get a foul there, but he doesn't. Instead, Hopkins.
For that, some of the big men for St. Francis gotten the Wildcats back into it. They said they would need to claw. They probably weren't going to get a big run. Offensively, the production hasn't been there today, but they've gotten back in it with some good free throw shooting. Very tenacious defense, forcing a lot of turnovers.
Q Owens now trying to get things set up. About the last 3 possessions for the Cougars, they have used almost the entire 35-second shot clock. They're down to 12 at this point with Dawson going on the inside. Both Aaron. Yeah, he has had this second half especially the afternoon. He's having a great afternoon. Dawson making both of his shots, both of his free throws. So it's now back to a 2-point lead for the Cougars. Jordan Widener throwing it to Vandewater. Taylor Schoen now in. We saw him on the defensive side involved in that play with Martin. Troyer kicking out to Vandewater.
St. Francis just isn't giving up the outside all day, so very, very few open looks out behind the three-point line.
Widener with an outside shot, just off to the right a little bit, and here comes Owens. It's a 1-on-2, 2-on-2 with Dawson.
Well executed.
Extremely well executed, and just like that, it's now back to a 4-point game. Their timeout after the Wildcats have clawed back to tie this game up. So it becomes rather important now the Wildcats get a basket on this possession. Ball goes.
As the risk of sounding like a coach, Mark, this is one of those things where every possession does matter. You think 6 minutes is a lot of time, but it really isn't.
So the Wildcats with a really tough defense here. Owens, Q Owens now going to the line, only 10 points. And that free throw rings in and out, and here come the Wildcats. So DJ Bettinger in for the Wildcats, Aaron Martin in, Jordan Widener, Hopkins, and Troyer.
Dawson's really putting a lot of pressure on Hopkins down underneath. They're not going to let him get anything easy. Not sure what they were calling.
Yeah, that should have been
that. No. Wrong one. Check that.
3 fouls. So both free throws missed. The Wildcats have not scored now over the last 2 minutes. So Owens getting things set up. Content to just let the basket, or just to let the clock run down.
St. Francis has time on its side. Wildcats are going to have to amp up the pressure.
9 seconds left in the shot clock, and now Owens getting things started. A pick set by Dawson gives Owens on the ball. And Coach Tonigo asking about the whole shot clock reset. Ref saying the ball hit the rim. Small now getting the ball. He's dribbling around to his right side. Back over to Owens. And again, content to just let this shot clock run down. Comer now on the right-hand side, tossing it over to Dawson, who takes a shot short. Jordan Widener rebound. He's pressing fast. He's coming in on Small. It drops. No free throw, or no foul.
Wildcats need to keep pushing the tempo. It's been there all day.
Coming down to the 4-minute mark, Bloom rather, with a long three-pointer. We've seen that this afternoon.
Cannot leave him open. You get down there for the layup, you've got to come back, set up.
Why St. Francis doesn't have a better record?
Well, it's been a brutal year for so many strong teams in the MCC. It's going to be very interesting to see if the NAIA committee awards that, how many at-large bids this conference gets.
Patrick Hopkins with a huge basket. Now 29 points on the afternoon. 3:35 remaining. It's a 4-point game.
And frankly, Patrick really has been the offense, especially in the second half here.
Owens with a very easy layup. And you're right, Randall. Patrick has been the offense. Unfortunately, he's been getting them, but it would be nice to, he puts it up too hard. He gets his own rebound, but loses control. And Dawson able to retain possession.
Patrick's got to be a little ragged at this point. He really hasn't been on the bench much this second half.
So they will definitely be in the championship game. And the next 3 minutes here will determine who their opponent will be.
They're waiting to see if they're going to be hosting a home game for the championship. Of course, the Wildcats have something to say about that.
St. Francis now with the ball. They get the ball inside to Cone, who's back in the game. He's got 4 fouls.
Got his own rebound. 2 Wildcats there, just didn't get high enough.
So Owens setting things back up. David Peters with 4 fouls. He's back in. And the ball is thrown away. Widener now one-on-one against Comer, which is really unfortunate. You got a one-on-one fast break, but Widener gets the ball. He's double teamed and then has the ball. So Widener with another opportunity, and he makes that.
Point game.
67-62, 2:24 remaining in this game. David Peters close on Owens.
Need a stop here. Oh,
they left Cone
some
wide
kind of
open.
defensive breakdown there. You don't want to give them easy ones. We're almost at 2-minute mark to kind of get that margin back down to 5 or even 4. Otherwise, St. Francis can just sit on this, and then you've got to start fouling.
Aaron Martin for 3, airballs it. He's inbounding the ball here. So David Peters is on him. Bloom gets it, tosses it back to Owens, and now it's going to be a little bit of a battle to get it across the half court, which they do.
Too early to foul, but you've got to do something aggressive. Get another turnover, and St. Francis is just going to sit back and come after them.
David Peters has done a fairly good job this afternoon, but every time Q Owens is able, it's just a little quicker than David and gets a step. 7 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Q Owens loses control. Bloom off balance 3, and Aaron Martin with the rebound.
Got a chance now, but you got to push it. You got to push it.
Here comes Troyer, and he plays, so he kind of hobbled off. Derek Troyer makes shot was taking place. All for the Cougars. Lots of defensive pressure here. The ball goes back to Owens.
They get it across. You probably got a foul now. And who do you foul with a team that's shooting over 80% from the line?
It certainly can't be David Peters on Owens, because Peters has got 4. Small kicking back to Owens. Owens thought about shooting. 15 seconds on the shot clock.
They'll take every one of them.
Small driving in, kicks it out to Owens. The Cougars by 3 to this point, but we've still got a 5-point deficit that we need to make up. So let's see if they get rid of this quickly. 10 seconds on the shot clock. A 9-second difference between shot clock and game clock. Wildcats need to do something quickly here with this amount of time. Patrick Hopkins on the
not
outside.
where you want Patrick.
Long three-pointer, short. And he's put this team on his shoulders before. We'll see if he can do it again this afternoon. He misses the second. Rebounding position. And they get the ball, so here we go with 22 seconds remaining.
Got to be quick.
A 4-point game. They can't be taking all this time. Aaron Martin for three, it's off. And Dawson, 2 more shots. And he makes his.
It's in free throws potentially here.
And
the chippy game, there hasn't been anything that, you know.
So the applause for him and his years of great, outstanding play. And so the season is going to end this way on a real down note, or it doesn't really end, rather, but at least tournament action.